Pierre truly knows how to get under the skin of Trudeau, and of course the rest of the drug addicts that he has in Parliament Hill, and he does it with a smile on his face. Here's Pierre himself.
Common sense conservatives fight to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost or corruption. We found yesterday that his government is under RCMP investigation again, this time for a Rive scam. The commissioner of the RCMP revealed, however, that the last time they were investigating him for criminal activity, he blocked them in the SNC-Lavalin affair from getting cabinet documents. So will he lift cabinet confidentiality and hand over all the documents to the police so that they can investigate any of his potential crimes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the situation around ArriveCan is obviously unacceptable, which is why authorities are looking into this procurement process. And anyone who took advantage of everything we were doing to try and keep people safe during COVID to get rich will face consequences. That's the way our system works.
So does that mean you as well, Trudeau? And is that your retirement plan? You're gonna call Sophie in one last pathetic attempt to get pity points, then volunteer yourself to prison?
But that's not the way the system has worked since he took office 8 years ago. According to the RCMP commissioner, he not only refused to be questioned in the SNC-Lavalin criminal investigation, and in the Aga Khan Billionaire Island investigation, but he blocked key cabinet documents from being included in those investigations. We now know that an app that was supposed to cost $80,000 went up to $60 million after the NDP helpfully voted for those extra funds. We don't know who criminally benefited from that. So once again, will the Prime Minister waive cabinet confidentiality, turn over all the documents, yes or no?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
The Leader of the Opposition's digging into the past to try and bring up things that were settled many years ago. But if he really wants to talk about the past, he should talk.
It was still a crime, dude. It was still a damn crime.
Talk about the fact that the Conservative leader was at Transport Canada working hand in hand with the minister as the founders of the company involved in ArriveCan were getting millions of dollars in contracts from the department he was working for. Mr. Speaker, we are taking seriously any concerns around procurement. Authorities are looking into it. There will be consequences for anyone who took care of our COVID protection efforts to get themselves rich.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
That answer proves again that he's not worth the cost or the corruption. We know that after 8 years of this Prime Minister, the cost of everything has gone up, in part because he's given away money for nothing. In a Rive scam, an app that was supposed to cost $80,000 was actually, how much? $60 million at least, and counting, because the Auditor General says she doesn't have the documentation to do the full calculation. Today, though, we have a common sense Conservative motion that require the Prime Minister release the full cost of the app and recover the money for Canadians within the next 100 days. Will he vote for that common sense motion? Yes or no?
And as always, Trudeau is reaching into his hat of recycled answers. And this time, he pulls out his brain. And, well, he throws it away since he doesn't need that shit.
Not on a question that I've said. It's unacceptable. The authorities are looking into it. But see the Leader of the Opposition choosing to fling mud on a question that I've said. It's unacceptable. The authorities are looking into it. But he doesn't want to talk about the housing investments that we're making across the country. He doesn't want to talk about the fact that he voted against dental care that seniors are going to be benefiting from as of May. He doesn't want to talk about childcare. He doesn't want to talk about Ukraine. He doesn't want to talk about all the things where Conservatives are out of line with Canadians. We're going to continue focusing on the things that matter to Canadians every single day.
Calm down, you grumpy old lady. Maybe you should retire so Canadians have a break from your dumb face already. Oh, Pierre's having those unacceptable views again. Trudeau doesn't like that.
Well, I'm glad he mentioned his phony rebates, because $1,800 in Alberta is the rebate. That's what he said. You heard him. Here's the gross cost. $2,943. So he's going to take away $2,943, but give back $1,800, and then ask you to be thankful for it, Mr. Speaker. Isn't that just proof that the carbon tax is just like him, not worth the cost?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, the Parliamentary Budget Officer himself recognized that the $1,800 in rebate that we're sending, for example, to a family of four in Alberta is more than that family of four costs with the price on pollution. That is the calculation that is done right across the country that shows that 8 out of 10 families are better off with the Canada carbon rebate than they pay in the price of pollution in areas in which it's brought in. We are both fighting climate change and delivering more money to households across the country, money that he wants to take away.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, the Parliamentary Budget Officer report is in my hands. Page 3 of a distributional analysis of the federal fuel charge under the 2030 emissions reduction plan. Google it. Look it up. It's on the Parliamentary Budget Officer's website. You don't have to believe me, and you certainly don't want to believe him. Go look for yourself. The average Ontario family will pay $1,674 in carbon taxes next year. That's $630 more than they get back in rebates. So why doesn't the Prime Minister Google it, look up the report, check the facts, and axe the tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the first and basic conclusion.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the first conclusion of the Parliamentary Budget Officer is, in the math, on the face of it, 8 out of 10 families get more back through the price on pollution, through the Canada carbon rebate. The reality is, if one wants to talk about longer-term and broader economic consequences of a price on pollution, you have to talk about the cost of inaction. You have to talk about the benefits of investing and innovating in carbon reduction technologies. That's the full picture that the Leader of the Opposition doesn't want to look at, because he doesn't think you can build a strong economy and fight climate change at the same time.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he's doing neither at the same time. Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary budget, first of all, I should catch that word. He said, on the face of it. Carbon tax is terrific. Well, the parliamentary budget officer actually did the calculation of the full fiscal and economic cost for the average family. And he found that every family in the middle class is worse off under the carbon tax. For example, in Ontario, the net cost for the average family above and beyond rebates is $627 this year. How are they going to pay for that?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, families in Ontario are going to be getting a Canada carbon rebate worth $1,120 this year. That's a family of four. A family in Nova Scotia, $824. A family in Saskatchewan, $1,500 this coming year. And that is more for 8 out of 10 families than the price on pollution actually is. We are fighting climate change. We are innovating and creating jobs of tomorrow. And we're putting more money in the pockets of Canadians, checks that Leader of the Opposition would take away.
I guess the true question here is, do you find the climate improving under this carbon tax regime? As Trudeau keeps telling families to spend at least $100,000 just to upgrade their house and their vehicles all at the same time, and just be happy to get less than $2,000 per year in the carbon rebate to pay back that $100,000 plus. The maths just ain't mathin'. Comment, like, and subscribe. You've been served.